How about that? There we go. Okay. All right. I had all kinds of problems. I had all kinds of technical issues this evening. The 48-volt conked out on me. I had to reboot it. I had to futz with the network. Everything just kind of tripped me up tonight. But here I am. Here I am. So hello, everybody. Paladin Steve Damien, Rob Turner, Great Old Ones, Robert Phillips, Advanced Fantasy Games. Who else is out there? There's a few more of you than that out there, according to the Countertron. Let's hop right into it. So tonight I had intended a normal start time and a deep dive, but the thing that I had wanted to talk about was not to hand. So rather than just kind of fake it and be like, this, which is actually kind of what I used to do back in the day, um, I just decided that an even older school hangout would be better. Dying Breed Tabletop, good to see you. But I'm going to make it worth your time tonight. If you will stick with me to the end tonight, we'll do the spinner thing, and I will give away a let's see, what is it I will give away? I'm feeling exceptionally lazy, but at the same time, let's see. I will give away a copy of Crom. If you don't already own a copy of Crom, let me know, and I'll put your name on the spinner at the end of the show, and we'll do a drawing for a copy of Crom. Pseudo TPK, good to see you. Dying Breed, hello. You thought that Kat was the show's producer. Yeah, no, you know what? She used to hang out here all the time. If you own a copy, can you have Super Crom? Yes, Rob Turner, I will give you a copy of Super Duper Crom. Don McVitie, good to see you. Orbital Air, hello. So if you don't already own a copy of Crom, I will set you up potentially with a copy of Crom tonight for free. But anyway, yeah, I'm just the pretty face. Did the cat call the goth girls that ultimately summoned Bill? Nah, nothing so fun. Crom for no, not Crom for Traveler, David Montgomery. I'm sorry. Crom for first edition AD&D. You could squint and use the die roller for Traveler. Just go in and use the manual input method and roll your 2d6, and then just put down human and hope for the best. IWS Bull, good to see you. But anyway, I did want to talk about a few things with you guys tonight. I just kind of so I've been thinking about changing my studio around a little bit, and I'm not sure if I want to do this. But so basically, this doesn't really impact you guys if you don't know. That side of the studio is currently where I call it my editing PC, but it's my daily driver. It's my work game PC. There's a massive HP Z440 tower workstation over here. This thing's a boat anchor, but it's also bulletproof. It's like a 12 core Z99 based Xeon, 48 gigs of RAM. It's just stupid powerful. Traveler Crom for an automatic kill before play starts. There you go. Bolter thrower. Okay. Crom for 3E. I'll start coding it now and be done never. I'll be deceased before that happens. Um, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, and you guys see the monitors, the microphone, all that jazz and matazz. What you can't see are my studio lights over here, and then I got the little light panels over here. I'd like to just replace this hodgepodge of multiple lights with just like two nice light panels. Um, yeah, 48, and it's 48 gigs of DDR4. Now, on the server, it's 48 gigs of ECC DDR4. So, unless you have a server or a consumer board that can use ECC, it's kind of useless. But I have 48 gigs in my gaming slash entertainment slash working PC, and yeah, I could sell that board, CPU and RAM for enough to buy a like a 30 series video card, which would be an enormous upgrade for me. I've got a 1080 right now. I like my 1080. But anyway, so I sit in this corner here in the office, a wall going that way and a wall going that way. There's not much of places for me to move. If I sat against the wall over there, like if I just shifted stuff 2 clicks, I mean, I suppose that I could sit with my back to that wall, but it wouldn't be great. That door goes to the other half of, well, not the other half of the garage, the other like 2/5 of the garage. This is a 1-car garage that I'm in right now. It's about an old school 1970s car wide. Directly across from me there, like behind the camera you guys are looking at, is a step up and a door into the main house. On the right hand side, you guys have seen my internet wizard picture. You see basically what's on that step up, which is a washer and a dryer. And then on the left hand side, there's a water heater and all the utility stuff there. So basically, the only place I could go would be as if I shifted corners. I put myself in the corner over here and moved the computer desk over here to right here, which you guys wouldn't see anymore because I would be sitting in that corner, and I'd move my bookshelves around. It would be a massive, massive effort to do. I mean, I would have to spend days and days and days doing it. Yes, it could fit a 1968 Pontiac Parisienne. Exactly, Jack. It is a very limited space. I will probably die right here. You guys will be watching me one night, and I'll just be like, When was the first episode of the Dungeon Delver? The first time I live streamed on 2XS, and hello, by the way. Oh, and greetings, Dungeon Minister. Good to see you. Hi, Eric. No, I'm not going to GaryCon. I will, however, be at EggCon, which is in Lake Geneva later on this summer. I will be there in July at EggCon. So many questions. But anyway, the first episode of the Dungeon Delver was March 18th, 2020. And it was on Facebook, but I actually have that episode on my YouTube channel if you want to go watch it. So a question from Don McVitie is, what would I gain from this move? And the answer is not much, really. A slight change of scenery. Um, the best I could do, the best I could hope for would be just that, a change of scenery. My problem is my computer is behind a step back, if you will. So as we go forward here, the room narrows in about 4 feet on the left hand side, and it's right at the step down, and it's to make closet space in another room. If I moved over here, anybody who came in my room could see my computer at all times. Plus, I've got a window over here. I've got a window with a door with a window in it. And in the afternoons, I would have a hotspot on my monitors because that way is west. So I don't know that I'll change anything in the studio. I I tell you what I really, really want. There's two pieces of studio. Well, four pieces of studio gear that I really want. Uh New light panels. I'd love some new light panels. Um I would love a new chair. Coochie, good to see you. And yeah, I'll head up to Gods and Monsters one day. Death Wizard having pizza, bolter thrower. I don't know what Delver's Con is. Advanced Fantasy Games. I don't know what that is. Push a wall a couple feet into the garage. Uh Gosh, dude, what I'd lose in storage out there versus the amount of effort versus what I'd gain in here, it just I've well, I mean, completely opaque would make it kind of dismal in here. A fondue set on the show. Just go full 1970s, huh? Um, okay, so Dying Breed, let me let me do kind of an endorsement here. I'm going to jump over to this camera real quick if it's working. Okay. You see this camera here? All right. This is a camera I bought last year. It was at the time it was like 139 bucks. It is not exactly a DSLR, but it's more than a webcam. And you can see how clear it is. It has a manual adjust focus on it. I really like it as my third webcam. Um, let me if you're interested, I can send you the details. It has HDMI and USB 3 out. It doesn't have a viewfinder, but I bought a 7-inch all inputs monitor to use as the viewfinder for it. And the whole kit together cost me just a skosh under $200. It's cheaper than a DSLR. Yes, you're tied to the computer, but I quite like it. I quite like it. Um, so so anyway, yeah, I've just been it's something I've been thinking about. I think ultimately I'm just going to end up getting a couple more shelves because I still feel like stuff's going to fall on me, and I'm tired of it. I paid 40 something dollars for a for polarizing filter, and I still like have a massive hot spot on the Space Hulk box set that I can't do anything about that. Oh, thank you, Coochie. Thank you very much. Um, yeah, you pay the Con Ed power. Now, somebody who lives up in Yankee territory, does Con Ed, does that stand for Connecticut Edison or I think it's Consolidated Edison, but there's like a 1.5% part of my brain is like, no, I believe that's Connecticut Edison. Somebody will have to tell me. But anyway, yeah, so I kind of kicked, I just a change of scenery. I have a love-hate relationship with this setup. Consolidated. Okay, thank you, Jack. Not Connecticut. You're from there. Okay, cool. I have a love-hate relationship with my table. It's great. It's awesome. I can put lots of stuff on it. It's horrible because I pile lots of stuff on it. If I didn't have this table in here, I would go bonkers because stuff would be sitting on the floor. But it makes my studio, man cave, whatever, feel like a cracker box. Okay, I know that Don McVitie is going to know this, but hands up, shout out. Who has ever had to sit in the tunnel in a Bradley? If you know, you know. Who has ever had to sit in the tunnel in a Bradley? Moving around my studio is like moving through the tunnel in full battle rattle constantly. When I move my chair back from my workstation over there, I'm constantly banging into this table. When I'm dragging this chair around, I'm constantly bumping into this table. I can even be moving here at night, and you guys, I'm going to do this on purpose, but you guys will see that because my knee bumps this table because I have no room here. It's just a very constricted space. And I wish I could do something about it, but I can't do anything about it. I absolutely can't. An LVTP7 is a rolling basketball court. That thing sits 24 and the seats are fold down. You fold those seats up and like you can walk a circuit inside an LVTP7 and not bump your head or your shins. No, Brad is, if an LVTP7 is a panel van, then a Brad is a Honda Civic. Oh, yeah, that makes my head hurt, Bob, just thinking about it. Was I in the service? No, but I'm a kind of a military dork. I like reading up about the hardware. One of the best pictures, one of the most awesome pictures I have ever seen. And this is what separates NCOs from everybody else. A dude was doing, Yellow Tank says, my craft room causes me anxiety due to claustrophobic feelings, way too much stuff, and it's not a small room. I feel you, Yellow Tank. I do. But it's just a single picture. Dude was on one of those long ass flights from point A to point B. I think he was either coming from or going to Afghanistan. And there was, I want to say it was a Humvee. I don't think it was peeking over, like towering over where he was. But my dude had brought on that flight with him an inflatable mattress. And guys, no, it was an inflatable bed. This was an inflatable bed. This was not like, well, you know, it's this wide and it's 6 feet long and it blows up like that. And then by the end of the, you know, the end of the trip, you're kind of rolling because only one cell is fully inflated. This was like a single king inflatable mattress, and dude was stretched out on it. I mean, he was kicking back. He had his laptop. There was a pillow. I mean, just, I promise you that was not a second lieutenant. It wouldn't have been like an E4 or anybody like that. It would have been a private or a corporal because they'd have just been like, nah. That was an NCO move. That was an NCO move. That was absolutely an NCO move. You flew to Iraq in a C-130. Thank you for your service, man. I mean that, seriously. There's a joke about C-130s, and I absolutely love this. F-16 is flying along one day, and there's a C-130 in his in basically in his airspace, and he kind of moves up along next to him, and he gets on the radio and he tells the C-130 pilot, "Man, I bet you wish you were a fighter pilot." And so the C-130 driver is like, "What makes you think I wish I was a fighter pilot?" And he says, "Because of all the stuff I can do." He's like, "Show me one thing you can do that I can't do." And so the F-16 guy is like, "Fine." So he goes full throttle, just firewalls, lights off the burner, takes off, boom, does a loop, pulls back alongside the C-130, barrel rolls over the top of him, does like a hammerhead maneuver where he's like stood up on the tail, cruising in front of him, drops behind him, locks him up on guns, comes back, and he's like, "All right, show me what you can do." 10 minutes go past, 20 minutes go past, 30 minutes go past, 40 minutes go past, an hour goes past. And hey, thanks for becoming a member there. I thought you already were, brother. I thought you already were. Wave mutilation. Thank you. So finally, the C-130 driver gets on the comms and he goes, "There." He goes, "What do you mean there? You didn't do anything." And he said, "Oh, I didn't? Well, let's see. I took a power nap. I baked some brownies in the galley. I went back and took a shit. I read a book. I had a cold one. I stretched my legs walking around in the cargo bay." Let's see you do that. I love that story. And somebody, was it Bob Jester? No, it was who was it? Rob Turner talking about vets in gaming. We used to have a comic shop here in Orlando, comic and game store. It was here for decades, and it just closed a couple of years ago. It basically rotted on the vine and just kind of crumbled away into nothing. But at the time, it was called Enterprise 1701, and I've talked about this place before. And they called it Enterprise 1701 because originally, when it was here in the village that I live in, its street number was 1701. And hey, Ultra, thank you. Your body currently feels how I look. I don't know. I don't know about that. But yeah, I hope to see you. Yes, on Corinne Drive. Death Angels know what I'm talking about. But it was here in Longwood, and then it was in downtown. And where it was in downtown, it was completely bonkers because it was right on the main drag that runs east-west through Orlando called Colonial Drive. And the storefront it occupied in the downtown area had 3 parking spots in front of it, and 2 of them belonged to a Ralph Kazarian auto insurance place. If you wanted to go to Enterprise and you wanted to park near it, you had to park in a neighborhood back behind it and walk all the way back up because you were not going to park in front of it. So That's where it was for the longest time. Well, it moved from there over to this place we're talking about called Corinne Drive. Now, Corinne Drive was parallel, but many, 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 many blocks away from Colonial Drive in a neighborhood. But the thing about it was a straight shot up Corinne Drive into the NTC. And at the time, that was the largest naval recruit training base in the United States. Bigger than the one in Michigan, bigger than any that were actually bordering the coast. It was the NTC, and it was a nuke school. You come here and learn nuclear power, nuclear propulsion. And you'd go there on a Saturday. And it was wall to wall, front door to back door, spilling into their 4 or 5 game rooms that they had, because they leased the other storefronts and just knocked doors through. The comic section, the anime manga section, the model kits, the RPG stuff, the war games, especially the war games, white uniforms. All that. Your buddy flunked out of nuke school. Yeah. Well, I mean, failing out of nuke school is not the same as like he got a dishonorable discharge or something. That just means they found him something else to do. Because I mean, you got to be a nuclear physicist. You basically have to become a nuclear physicist, and that is a school where they will train you. But it was there for the longest time. And then in the 90s, in the late 90s, the Clinton administration did some, right after the end of the Gulf War, the U.S. government under President Clinton decided that we no longer needed a big military. Little sidetrack of history here. The U.S. from 1941 to 1992 was on a war footing. We expected to have to go to war. Well, we got into war with the Axis, and immediately after, we expected to go to war with the Soviets. There was a very brief period when our military got weak enough because we thought it would just be atom bombs. It'd just be B-29s dropping atom bombs on Russia. And then Russia got the bomb. So hey Dungeon Damsel, good to see you, my dear. How'd the crowdfunding thing go? But anyway, nice. Yo, let me hold $1. Anyway, so from 1941 to 1992, we're in a war footing. Okay. There were towns that you've never heard of, that I've never heard of, had, yeah, good numbers. But they had military bases in them. They were everywhere across the United States. And most of those towns emptied out because we shifted the entire U.S. military in the space of like 6 months, shifted to go fight in the desert. And then when they came back, the Soviet Union went out of business like the next year. And that was the end of it. And the BRAC Base Realignment and Closure Committee sat down basically with a big list that was highly politicized, and they said who voted what districts voted for us and what districts didn't vote for us at that point being the Clinton administration. So Orange County, which went heavily red at the time, we lost the NTC and it went to Michigan, which went for Clinton. So the NTC closed. The last thing that anybody did at the NTC, other than something I'll get to in a minute, was they filmed From Earth to the Moon out there. Any stuff you see where they're like Houston or, Cape Kennedy, they're just filming locations around. There's this awesome scene where they're getting ready for the Apollo mission, and Dave Foley is one of the Apollo astronauts. It's like the goofy Apollo mission. I think it's supposed to be Apollo 12. But there's this scene where they're talking about going to the moon, and they're all in this random lake, and there's this great wide angle shot, and you see like this lead colored sky behind them, and that's Lake Fairview. It's very close to the Navy base. But they filmed all of that around Orlando because the military was like, we don't care. And then they, that was over and done with, and that, and end of the series. So they shuttered the base. Well, when they closed the base, Enterprise 1701, they closed and they moved further east to a shopping center, and they became part of a chain of comic and game stores called Sci-Fi City. And their initial location out east was massive. It was in a place that had formerly sold like wholesale restaurant supplies. So people called it Spatula City after UHF. They would call it Spatula City. And I mean, it was jumping. That place was huge. I remember they had like an in-store day. I showed up the morning they were that they were doing the cast of Farscape was there. And they had literally just gotten in and were standing around the counter talking with people. And I was there to buy Dwarven Forge. You could still buy Dwarven Forge retail. And then I heard the voice of one of the characters. I think it was that strange old three-eyed lady. I can't even remember the actress, the character's name now. But I was like, oh, holy shit, and then their events like meet the crew of Farscape, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So it stayed there for a long time, and it slowly declined. And the last little bit it was in there, what they had for these massive tables for people to play Warhammer on, and they had pods where you could go. They had computer pods in the store where you could play MMOs and that sort of thing. All that just kind of became, we're just throwing empty boxes over here. And then they moved across the lot to, ironically, they moved across the lot to a place where we bought one of our couches, the former furniture store. I did not get a chance to goose Gigi Edgley. Thank you, Praxis Naranti. Hey, Death Angels, that's awesome. So when they moved across the way, it really started to dwindle a lot. An old gaming buddy of mine. I mean, I knew him from gaming, and that's all. We weren't like simpatico buddies, friends, or anything like that. Just a guy I knew named Troy. Troy worked there. I think probably to the very last, and then very briefly, when they quit being part of Sci-Fi City's franchise network of 2 or 3 stores. They literally just changed the name to FLGS. That's what they called. And it was in a space that was bigger than where they started, but definitely smaller than where they had previously been. And now they're gone completely. So it was kind of an ignominious end to what had been a landmark part of Orlando. And I must say, it kind of breaks my heart. Bit of trivia about them. They actually wrote a letter to Paramount back in the 70s. They wrote a letter to Paramount and called it and said, hey, as long as we make it clear that we're not affiliated with you guys, and we're not asking for your endorsement, but can we call our store Enterprise 1701? And Paramount was like, sure, whatever. And they held on to that letter for the longest time. Like, apparently that was in a frame, not as like a curio that you could see, but they kept it like on the wall in the back of the store with the licenses. Like, here's our business license, here's our building inspection, here's the letter from Paramount. If lawyers walk in here to service papers, we go in and we say, take your stuff and leave. So that was Enterprise 1701, and they are they are long gone. I have a few books and items around here that I can promise you have Enterprise 1701 price tags on them still to this day. They're in-store price tags. But I told you that story to tell you another one, and I don't remember what it was, so it's probably not important. By the way, guys, if you haven't, would you please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications? And I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. We have, I can close that. Don't save that. Now there's still a Coliseum, but they're way the hell down south in Kissimmee. Yes, we have a place here called Kissimmee. I need a browser window. I need an unoccupied browser tab here. So right now at this minute, the channel has 9,565 subscriptions. Yesterday it was the day started at 9,544 subscriptions. 9,544. So we've jumped up 21 in 2 days. And I want to talk a little bit about a me problem. And I want to tell you this as a cautionary tale. Oh, he said the thing.
It's over 9,000! 9,000?! There's no way that can be right!
He said the thing. So I consider myself a gamer. If somebody, no, I've been doing that since we crossed 9,000 back, like earlier in the winter. I consider myself a gamer who YouTubes, not a YouTuber. And I have forgotten that. I like the fact that I can reach a lot of people, not for the fact that I'm reaching a lot of people, but for the fact that what I'm bringing them is gaming goodness, is first edition AD&D. I can come in here and I can hold up a book that people might not even know exists. They're like, what is that? You know, I can say, this is the first ever published splat book for D&D, to use modernish nomenclature, although really that nomenclature is almost 40 years old. I like the fact that I can do that. I like that I can share what I love of this hobby with people, and the internet makes it possible. And it feeds into that dopamine hit when people say, absolutely, voice of one. But it feeds into that dopamine hit when people say, I watch your show. I'm playing AD&D now because of you. I showed this to my friends. I mean, I'm not being a braggart, and I'm not going to say who, because I've been asked to be hold this in confidence. But there are capital F famous people who've reached out to me and said, what you're doing is great. I love your show. All right. And I'm not bragging. I'm not rubbing that in anybody's face. And I'm just blown away by it. And that is that's like a rush, you know? Here's the thing about rushes and highs. You tend to chase them. Whatever it is, whether running 5 miles made you feel sky high, so you push it to 7, because 3 doesn't do it anymore. 5 only just touches it, but 7's getting it, and then 7's not enough. And then you're doing marathons and so on, which is actually, that's healthy. That's good. But when it's not good is when you lose perspective on things. And one of the best and worst things to happen to me was when I started doing YouTube shorts. It was the best to happen to me because it snapped my channel out of a moribund state. I'm going to use this word a lot. Metrics. Metrics are who watched your channel, how often did they watch your channel, how many people subscribed to your channel, what was your ad income on the channel, what was your other income on the channel, how many people have subscribed to your channel, how many people are channel members, what is your impressions, how many times was this shared. And when I started doing shorts, I got put into a mode by YouTube, by their analytics machine, that said, oh, this guy's doing 3 shorts a day. Let's just promote the hell out of him and see what happens. Is he going to go viral? And I kind of did. There were days when like one short would pop off and I'd get 8,000 views on it. Like, I'd upload the video, get up, go get a drink of water, sit down and start preparing the next video. And the first video has already gotten 2,000 views because YouTube just blew open the metrics. They exposed my channel to thousands of people. And they did that from when I started doing it in November until about 3 weeks ago. And then I noticed it started to go down. Thank you, Yellow Tang. See, that's my aim. That's what I should be focused on. Moribund State, that sounds more like an early front 242. Like that would be a track on the Endless Riddance EP, but also Sisters of Mercy. I could see it being on either. And it was so easy because I know so many little trivia nuggets about classic D&D, or I can just, oh, there goes my sign. I can just grab a D&D book and leaf through it and find something that people might not know and share that with you guys. And Arts in Decay, and they have, oh, that's very cool. And so yeah, so I was, it was so easy. And then I hit the wall. I hit the wall in February. I uploaded a video one morning, and I didn't expect it to do 4,000 or 5,000. They'd started easing down. I was like, okay, it's cooling down. I'm hitting saturation, I thought. I've reached out to the audience that wants to be reached, and it's starting to saturate. But in the first hour, this video, I don't even remember which one it did like 30 views. 30 people saw it. That's not a loss of interest. That's not hitting at the wrong time of day. That's being muted. That's being silenced. You guys would have seen it. Nobody else would have. And I was like, that's no good. So I uploaded another video, and I waited another hour, and that video did like gangbusters compared to that one. And in the space of an hour, it did like 140 views. And I kind of freaked out. And I've talked about this since then, but I was in a pretty ugly mood after that. And since then, I've kind of been spiraling. I've kind of been hypersensitive to it. Because suddenly, push button, get subscriptions isn't working anymore. Because I got 2,100 subscriptions in 3 months, which for me is god awful huge. I get it. If you're a YouTuber, 2,100 subscriptions in 3 months is not gangbusters. If you're serious about it, if you're Clownfish TV, if you're Jax Films, if you're somebody like that, that's a disaster. That's an unmitigated disaster. You're screaming at your producer. Why? But for me, that was huge. And I have no right to complain. Because I look at smaller channels that I like to exalt, like Dunder Moose, like Dungeon Minister, like Yang Yan Zhao, like Doom Swords, like Great Old One's channel, like D and Disability, like Rob's channel, like Death Angel's channel. And I want to be clear, because Dr. David Howard said this. Guys, I am not putting anything on you. I am talking about my failings. Okay. I I chased that dragon for 3 months, and then YouTube took it away. And they said they did. I got on with their little AI chatbot thing, and I was like, what is going on? My channel was dying all of a sudden. And it was like, relax, your channel's not dying. We're just taking away your ability to be seen. And it was just like a kick in the guts. And it slowly started to get better. Okay, now in the first hour, it's back up to 600. It's back up. Okay, all right, I'm climbing out of that pit. And I screwed myself up because I was morose and feeling sorry for myself because I wasn't getting a dozen subscriptions a day. I was getting maybe 2. Only if Mrs. the Delver will read it with me, Gonzalo. Yeah, Orbital, exactly. Imagine having hundreds of thousands of dollars at risk, and YouTube ghosts you, YouTube, Etsy, and all those are high risk because you don't control the access. Exactly. Did you know every American is an erotic American? Good day. And so I came up with a plan. I researched this out, but before I get to that, like I said, I no pseudo TPK. This is Torgo. The master would not approve. That was Paul Harvey. Torgo doing Paul Harvey. Good day. When I got kicked in the shins back in February, like I went negative on subscriptions for the first time in 3 months. I lost subscriptions for 2 days. Not a huge amount. Hey, Kabuki. I know you do, Death Angels. Nobody here is like under any. I'm not giving it. And like, why haven't you guys? That's not where I'm at. This is a YouTube thing. But it was like, what my first thought was after they've throttled my stuff was they've throttled my stuff because my material sucks. I've done something wrong. I'm not doing it right anymore. And it led me to some very incorrect and wrong-headed self-examination. I'm not good enough. Guys, I suffer imposter syndrome all the time. There's times when I'm sitting here doing what I'm doing and I'm like, I suck. And they know I suck. And they're going to figure it out. I'm going to look up one day and look back on this as a golden time because everybody's going to be like done. All right. When somebody who is like really, really active on the channel in the chat, like hitting me up, contacting me, coming on live streams with me and stuff like that. When life takes him elsewhere, my lizard brain goes, they figured you out. They figured you out, and everybody else will soon enough. And I know that's not true. Tell that to the demon living in the back of my head. It's just that's just a burden I bear. And I it's awful what I do to myself. You're right, Kabuki Kid. People have it way worse than I do. I'm not good enough to suck. So I'm kidding. But and I think then I'm like, well, it's because you've lost the plot, Bill. You've tried to become a YouTuber. You're not a YouTuber. You're a D&D guy with a microphone, and you have pretenses of being a YouTuber. And then I think, well, what have I done for D&D lately? You know, have I really done anything for the hobby, or do I just sit here and talk about the hobby? And it just kind of becomes this, this negative feedback loop. And I think yesterday I hit my nadir. And because of some weird ass malfunctions with streaming over on X, because I think what happens is, and if you've come from like Twitter, X, call it whatever, like if you're like, oh, I see the notification on X, but I'm going to go watch them on Twitter. If you've done that, then that's great. Last night, I think 30 or 40 minutes in, there were 6 people watching the live stream. And after the day I'd had, I felt about this big. Not at anyone, at myself. Yes, it is Death Angels. So I got caught in that negative feedback loop for a full day. But here's the good thing. It made me think. It made me think about what I can do to stop poisoning myself. To stop brewing up poison and then drinking it down. Yummy, glub glub. More poison. Exactly, Rob. I know that. I know that, man. I objectively know that's the truth. So I have a new plan of attack. Starting next week, on Monday, it's going to be 2 YouTube shorts a day and then a live stream. And I'll tell you why. One of the things that I found out was YouTube, for small guys like me, for small channels like me, YouTube will only send out 3 notifications a day. If you load up 20 shorts and do 2 live streams and 2 full-length videos in a day, 3 of those at random are going to get notified by YouTube. Also, you will have a mental breakdown if you attempt that every day. So you only get 3 a day. Well, I only get 3 a day. I don't know about big channels. Because honestly, if I was sitting there with a like 500,000, 750,000, 1 million subs, there would be someone at YouTube who would contact me. I would have a handler at YouTube that would work with me on my channel. It wouldn't be relying on the AI, and it wouldn't be having to go through their frequently asked questions to get an answer. And I promise, if you're swinging 4 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers, 10 million subscribers, you can call YouTube up and say, fix this. I can't. I don't have that. I don't have that pull, and I never will. So I have to play to that strength. So it's going to be 2 shorts a day and then a live stream. Starting probably after the guac. Now, I'm still going to live stream, but I'm going to start doing contentful videos. I've already started writing the scripts for them. Do you guys remember when Wizards of the Coast was doing everything wrong? I was having like a video like every day. There were days when I had like 5, not that many. There were days that a couple of days that I did 3 YouTube videos. Okay. And then I would do a live video that night. I don't know what the algorithm was doing then, because that was 2023. But for right now, I'm going back to doing contentful videos. I'm still going to live stream. I'm still going to do the shorts. I just have to meter what I'm doing and spread it out and not try and flood the system, because you're not going to let me do that. So the good thing about all this negativity that it sounds like I'm heaping on myself, and this mental breakdown that I was having off camera yesterday, is, hey, brother, thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Gonzalo. That means a lot. You play in the subway long enough and somebody's bound to throw a few bucks in the guitar case. But if all you watch the channel for is the it all comes back to music, Kabuki. If you know, if all you come to the channel for is for the live streams, I mean, I've had people like who watch the AD&D live streams say, "Wait, you live stream other days?" Or, "I just found out you're doing shorts. You do this." I do have more than one thing a day. Then that's not going to change. If you just watch the live streams, that's not going to change. Or rather, if you just watch the shorts, that's not going to change. But if you're hitting the channel and you're saying, you know, well, I don't see, you know, I don't, I go to your channel and like the newest video is from like January, that notification about Tim Kask. And that thing barely has 400 views on it. I don't see that you do any other videos. YouTube doesn't show live streams. They don't front face live streams. There's no live stream feed on YouTube. They decide to show it or decide to not show it. Too much of a social hot potato on 2XS. I would love to, but, and he wouldn't anyway. I mean, you know, the guy's worth what, $108 billion. He's not going to show up on my channel. Yeah, Slime from over on X. There are live streams you want to watch and you got to dig around to find them. Exactly. I know. Everybody gets on my butt. Roger Hurst says I was live streaming on X and had to locate it on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. And hello, by the way. Thank you for coming over. But take care, great old ones. Thank you for hanging out. Orbital air. I love it. That's awesome. D&D is dying. There's a certain Irish lass that does that. D&D is dying. Wizards of the Coast just screwed up again. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And then it's just like she's reading some shit from early 2026 off of ICV2 or something, like, you know, like, okay, that's your shtick. I get it. You know, I mean, she doesn't go on her channel and say, why do I see this guy's shorts all the time? Did you know? I'm sick of it. So, well, it was lovely to see you here, Kabuki. You guys see that blue wrench there Kabuki's wielding? You better behave. I gave her that for a reason. She spang y'all on the head. But I just, okay, brass monkey. Anyway, wrench, shield, they both work. It's a shield. Oh, is it a shield now? See, it's still a wrench on StreamYard. I so rarely look at hey, Gonzalo, let's not go crazy. All right. Let's not say things we can't take back. I'm just kidding. But anyway, no, you know, she doesn't. Anyway, the point is, guys, the streams aren't going away. Content that isn't streams is going to change. On days when I drop content full video, there will be one short. Why? Because the three notifications rule, right? If that's still in place. So that's what's going on, guys. That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at. I mean, and the reality is, as much as I hate to say this, the little helper bot on YouTube, and when I feed my analytics into Chat GPT and even Grok, they're all right. It really hasn't dropped that much. Yeah, I'm not having days when I'm getting 18, 20 subscribers. And yeah, I did have a couple of days when I had negative subscribers. I had unsubscribes. But in the average, it's staying the same. I mean, 2024 to 2025, do you know what my average subs per day was? 5. 2024 to 2025, 5. That's January 1, 2024 to January 1, 2025. Or no, maybe it was less. Maybe it was like 2.5. I mean, that's when things were really moribund. That's when it was just kind of sputtering along. Take care, Orbital Air. Thank you for hanging out. And IWS Bowl, you know what? You're absolutely right. And that's one of the other things. You know, again, I listed a whole bunch of other channels. Dungeon Minister, Thunder Moose, Yang Yan Zhao, Doom Swords, gosh, who else? D and Disability, so many people out there with smaller channels than me. I'm bitching that I'm not getting 100 subs a week anymore. And here, here's channels that aren't getting 7 a week, 5 a week, 1 a week. Rob Rob Turner, you wish you were getting 1 a day. You get about 7 a month. Do YouTube Shorts. Maybe they'll give you a shot in the arm like they did me for a while. It won't last. I'll warn you there. It won't last. So I guess last night I had to sit down and you go there to whine about Tuesday night. I don't want people to kiss my ass. I don't want people to come here and just heap praise on me all the time. That goes back to what I was saying earlier about the nature of the show. I don't want to lose sight of what I am. And that's a guy who loves D&D and wants to share that love of D&D with people. All right. I could shift this channel. This like got me angry at the AI, and I told it so, and it apologized. When it was like, well, look at Bob World Builder and Professor DM and what they're doing. And I was like, frankly, they can lose in a day my entire audience number, like the 9,544 at that time that I have. They could lose in one day and not notice it. It's telling me to look at them and leverage what they're doing is a little disingenuous. I'm not worthy of praise, Kabuki. She's gonna drive up here to Orlando and braid me with a frying pan, or just text my wife and have her do it. She's closer and spare you the flight and the drive. That's a good idea on 2XS. I should do that. I will do that. I'm going to make a note. Clong. Thud. Bracelet to salad cream. All right. I'll see your verisimilitude and raise it Dwemercraft. Dwemercraft. Matio locations. But tipsy following does not always. Yes, YouTube sober guys. How much did the Gygax repaired shoes sell for? That's a good. You know what? I wonder if there's anyone out there who has like up in an attic a pair of shoes that were repaired by Gary Gygax. You never know. I mean, unless you had a receipt. Oh, I got to tell you guys this funny one. Speaking of High Gygaxian, when was I think this was at EggCon. I could be wrong, but I was describing a set of brass doors as brass valves. I said, before you, huge brass valves. And one of the players was like, is there anything coming out of them? And I said, no, they're closed. And he's like, I'm going to carefully open one of the brass valves. Which way do I have to turn it, clockwise or counterclockwise? And I was like, it swings inward. He's like, oh, the valve is a handle for a door. It's like, no. It's in his mind's eye. He's picturing like this big, like, wheel that you turn. You heard a pair of Gygax shoes sold at, I can believe it, on 2XS. Gary's using napkin from WinterCon 98. But anyway, so I'm changing things up on the back end. It's still going to be live streaming. There's still going to be shorts, but I'm bringing more and different. I'm not trying to pile on even more. It would be fruitless. It would be counterproductive. It would be diminishing returns, a net negative, if I went in and I came in and I said, I said, yeah, well, I'm gonna do contentful videos 5 nights a week, and I'm gonna do YouTube live stream 5 nights a week, and I'm gonna do 3 short videos a day. I could maybe sustain that for a month, and then they'd have to take me to the funny farm. It would be a very unpleasant experience coming out the other side of that. But one thing, another thing that I have taken away from this is that I am going to do I'm going to do loading of short videos, and even loading of the live videos, the interstitials, as I call them. Basically, I'm going to take a day, probably Sundays, and I'm just going to rack and stack. Like Sunday is my ultra busy work day, where I rack, stack, edit, well, record, edit, rack, and stack. And then that way, I'm not like, the first thing when my feet hit the floor in the morning is not, shit, I've missed the golden hour for the first short of the day. I got to try and catch the next best one. And I run out here, and then, did you know that Gary Gygax once made shoes? It's true. In his basement, next to his gaming table, he had a number of shoe lasts, that is, mechanical shoe stretchers and shoe repair materials. While this was going on, he was writing Dungeons and Dragons with Don K, with some input from Rob Kuntz and Dave Arneson. And then I upload that over to that machine, and I run over there, and I chop out all the deep breaths and stuff, and I find images of stuff to stick along the timeline, and put the little fire transitions in, and the little ending bit on, and then I upload that to YouTube, and I pant and I collapse for an hour, and then by the time I've had breakfast or lunch and walked the dog and done other stuff, I gotta jump back up and go back and do another. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have an exceptionally busy day on the weekend, probably Sunday early in afternoon into evening. And then when Monday comes, I'm just not going to worry about anything until I get to live stream time, which I can't preload, obviously. I'm glad you guys like the voice. Yes, Rob, exactly. A backlog of them. I did that when I was in when I was in Philly, And even though like I did do some just hop on and do now do movie phone. Now showing at your AMC 8 at Reinhardt Cinemas, we have Tom Hanks, Gary Sinise, and Kevin Bacon in Apollo 13. Can the astronauts make it to the moon? Who will survive and what will be left of them? But what if Alex Jones did movie phone? I guess we'll never know. A buddy who was a DJ for K92, B94, WDBO back in the 90s. Oh, that's really cool. K92 FM. Tip for movie. Oh, God. Somebody did it. Hang on a second. I got it. When K92 FM used to come to the high school for career day, we used to get stacks of their bumper stickers and we'd cut them up and stick to our notebooks in various places on campus. 69 me. we'd cut them back together instead of K92 FM 69 me. All right. Let's see. People, I tried to warn you. There's a new Will Smith movie, but it's not a movie. It's the truth. It's called Enemy of the State. That's what I am. They think it's fictional. He's out there trying to tell the truth. That's Double Bill with Mel Gibson. A conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy, people. It's the truth. And I'm trying to warn you. They don't want you to know, but I'm out here and I'm telling you the truth. You can come and see these movies. You can come and see them. Pay with cash. They will know. They will track you. When you pray tonight, you say, what do I do, Lord? And he'll say, you got to go pay for the movies with cash. You got to see these movies. They're documentaries, people. It's not happening in Hollywood. It's real. It's happening now. The only way to shield your brain from the mind control that they'll put in the trailers is colloidal silver. No, I'm not going to do that. Time for you to get sleepy. Kabuki, sleep in heavenly peace. No, I can't. I cannot. I cannot bring that up. That will YouTube. So I got a funny one for you. The Kabuki, stick around for like 2 seconds for just 2 seconds because you'll get a kick out of this. So there are certain words that I cannot say on YouTube. Not foul language. I can say whatever the fuck I want. Especially when I get a great fucking super chat like I did tonight from Gonzalo Lira's bar tab. There are words that involve or that if I say those things out loud, the video could get stopped, my channel could get nuked, so on and etc. The AI may even Semprini, yeah. Thank you, Pseudo. I got that one. Semprini. There's a there is a topic that I want to do a long form video on about bank pulling. That's Pat Pulling's son, and we know what happened to him. And so today, when I was actually feeling creative and I was kind of coming up from that nadir that I'd hit, and I was getting positive input back from the YouTube helper AI, asking it questions about what can I do, how to, and it was saying, okay, have you tried this? And I was saying, okay, what if I did this? And it's like, actually go read this thing, go read this link. That's perfect. That's what you should be doing. I was like, okay, all right. And then because it's a general chat AI, it's not like you can go there and be buddies with it and talk about sports or whatever. It's only going to talk to you about YouTube, but it will plug into Gemini. And so like if I start talking about Gary Gygax, it knows who I'm talking about. Okay. And it's looking at my content and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, here's some possible suggestions for you. And it's mentioning D&D related things to me. And I said, and it said, well, what would you like to do for a short form video? And I said, well, top 10 controversies surrounding early TSR and Dungeons and Dragons. And it said, oh, I think that's a wonderful idea. Here's how you frame those. You start by teasing what number one's going to be, and then that ensures people watch all the way to the end. And so I said, what if my number one thing is this situation? And I want to be very careful about that because it involved those things that I just pantomimed to you guys. And the AI immediately said, like, it didn't even respond, nor it popped open a window that said, if you are feeling these thoughts, you must immediately call this number. Help is available. Like, the poor thing thought that I was taking my final bow. And I was like, no. Context. This happened. And then it gave me then it gave me a good answer on how I could like do that and not get the whole thing. Basically, YouTube goes, nope, we're suppressing that. We're suppressing your channel now because you dared to do that. Because you wanted to talk. So it gave me, but it immediately like slammed the brakes on the conversation and was like, here's a big boilerplate thing on people you need to call right now. You call them right now. You're clearly having problems. And I was like, yes, Bob, that's exactly what it thought I was doing based on its response. I'll tell you guys an even funnier one in this. Because I went to share a music video about this with a family member. There is a band called Tendencies. They're a punk band out of Southern California. Mike Muir fronts them. They have a song called Institutionalized. All I wanted was a Pepsi, just a Pepsi. You know the song, you know the band name, Tendencies. If you search that band name on YouTube, it will gray box you and warn you that you are searching content that can hurt you. Yes, subliminal, send me your money, I saw your mommy. By the way, if you are a fan of Ministry and you are a fan of ST, which is what I should have been saying, ST, great band, awesome band. Go listen to the song Possessed by ST and immediately listen, or if you have the means, play Possessed and the song Deity by Ministry off of their Land of Our Word and Honey album. Yes, Gonzalo. But play those songs back to back or one in one ear and one in the other. Possessed and Deity, at least in the bass lines, they're practically the same damn song. I mean, it's like, babe, I'm going to leave you in 25 or 6-4. That's right. That is correct, Kabuki. Golden Dawn. That's another good one. Hezbollah. Oh, well, if Hassan Piker's not going to get kicked off this platform for saying that, then surely I won't. I saw ST open for Queensryche in the 90s. Queensryche was doing their Building Empires tour, where it was like the front half was their like Empire and favorites, stuff like that, and then the back half was Live Crime. Phenomenal show from both bands. So but yeah, go listen to Deity by Ministry and Possessed by ST just back to back, and they're very, very close songs, and they're both awesome jams. I should point out they're both bad jams. Yet an idea wants to do reviews of old school D&D modules along with stories of players' actions in those modules, and you thought that would be fun to do and listen to. Roger Hurst, if you have the means and you want to do that on YouTube, I recommend it. Peace, Kabuki. Good night. Love you to pieces. Thanks for hanging out with us. But so all the to repeat what I was saying, guys, all my negative feelings yesterday got me nowhere. They got me nowhere positive. You think I have the voice for it, Roger? Are you just watching speech to text on your screen? Do you know what my voice sounds like? All that negativity did nothing for me. It did nothing for me. But it did kick me in the ass, and it did make me take a long look at how I want things to go around here. And I almost wish this had happened back in January, but in January, I was still on that kinetic energy imparted by November and December's rush of shorts. I thought I was just, the king of D&D tubing. Well, my corner of it anyway. Sebastian Bach becoming the lead singer for Twisted Sister. I don't like that. I mean, if it works for them, that's fine. I don't know. I've seen too many of those groups that were all about rebellion and FU take a back seat to servile conformity. I mean, case in point, Rage Against the Machine. You've never been a fun person. I didn't know Dee Snider wasn't performing with him anymore. Oh, that's a shame, Bob. Rage, exactly. Rage in support of the machine. F you, we will do what we tell you. I love getting preached at by a soy decent communist who has a guitar that costs more than my house is worth. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, can I come and hang out at your mansion? Can I move my family in? I bet you got a room in your house there, sir, that's bigger than my whole house. We won't make much noise. That's part of socialismo, isn't it? I mean, my name Sylvie was once De Silva. Well, that's a shame, and I hope Mr. Snyder gets to feel better. You got invited to see Nine Inch Nails backstage at Red Rocks. You turned it down. Yeah, oh, I get it. I got invited somewhere once, and I turned it down. And the reason was simple. The timing wasn't good. I told the person who invited me, I said, that sounds very nice. Cause there are people reached out to me. They were like, hey, they'd like you to come out to his house, and, here's what we'd like you to do. And you can bring this, and don't bring your phone, and, don't wear perfumes, and don't talk about this, and don't do that, and don't do the other. And it was just kind of a list of don't do's. And I kind of basically, just at that point, Zeus had run into some brambles in the backyard and had cut his eye, like his eyeball. For those of you who are OG, if you remember that, I basically had to pin Zeus down under my arm, like wrestlers pinning him down, and pry his eye open and drip medicine into it. Because he'd had a debridement. They'd literally gone in and peeled the layer of his cornea that was damaged off. And I responded back. I'm like, hey, I got this going on. I can't. I'd love to, someday, but I can't do this. Out of Touch Poses is my Insane Clown Posse cover group. That's good. But yeah, I never heard from him again. And that's okay. Because you know what? None of you guys are ever going to say, here's a list of conditions for hanging out with me. Never met the man. Never met Neil Sedaka. Zeus is I mean, his health has gotten better and worse. No, I'm not. I don't drink. If you were going to bring a case of something, I would say don't bring a case of anything. Bring like a 6-pack of really good beer or cider. Like stop at Total Wine on your way to my house and pick up some Cider Boys Grand Mimosa. Their apple and orange flavored cider. Love that stuff. But when Laura Daniel, who's an absolute sweetheart, and I love her to pieces, absolutely, Rob. But when Laura was here last time, I said, who are there any famous people other than yourself that you played with? I mean, Laura's been in movies. Laura's been in TV shows. She's worked with big name talent. She's worked with Martin Short. She's worked with I Randy Quaid, she's worked with Chevy Chase, you know. Um, but she asked me, she's like, who famous would you like to game with? And I said, well, you. But also, I don't care. Like, well, you know, I'm the guitarist, the drummer, the whatever for this band. I'm Joe Actor Guy, and I've got all these awards on my shelf at home, and I don't care. I mean, it's neat, but I want to play D&D. Like, that's my chief concern. And if you want me to kiss your ass because you're famous, sorry, I'm not gonna. If you want to have a good time and play D&D, that's awesome. And I've sat next to Pat Kilbane, and I loved gaming with Pat. Pat's a really good gamer, and I loved having Pat on this show. Pat just happened to be on Mad TV. He does a fantastic Howard Stern. I got to get Pat back on the show and just shoot the shit with him one night. But I enjoy Pat's company, not because Pat's, you know, a famous actor. I enjoy Laura's company, not because Laura's the point of commonality that I have with them is gaming with them. Or that they're gamers, that they game, that I game. That's the point of commonality. And that's a thing where being a rock star, being a movie star, being a famous programmer, being a race car driver, being an astronaut doesn't really like factor in to playing the game. So that's just how I feel about that. The main reason to play D&D with famous people is in the hopes of getting better snacks and drinks. Yes. I mean, to me, like, if you ask me about famous people that I know, like, I've told some of the famous people who've reached out to me, yes, I worked for Gary Gygax. Yes, I've gamed with Gary Gygax. Yes, I'm friends with Gary Gygax. Well, I technically Gary Gygax's son-in-law and his daughter Heidi, and they just freak out. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? It's like they envy me. Well, what's the answer, Death Angels? You can't just say that and then, you know. Rich people put on their helicopters just the same as you or I do, one leg at a time. Heidi Gygax is, and Eric Gygax are what Eric, jeez, Eric Garland are awesome people. Death Angels, you tell me right now whether or not Peter Jurassic has played TTRPGs. You have to, you can't just sit there and chat and say that. You can't just sit there and chat and say that, like, oh, here's a thing. That's fine. That's acceptable. Guys, tonight has been I've really needed to have this talk with you guys about what's been going on. That's really cool, Bob. I've just I just needed to to talk about this because it preys on me. I think I do have good material. I think I do a good job. And it's interesting being at the Roche limit of YouTuber and tabletop gamer and not get pulled into rubble. The Roche limit is the point at which you can approach a gravitic body in space and not fall into it or be destroyed by its gravitational pull. People are like, oh, what if the moon hit the earth? The answer is it wouldn't. The moon would get closer and closer and closer and closer, and then the tidal forces of the earth would tear it into strips. Can do, Death Angels. You let me know a date and time, and you did not have to super chat, but I appreciate it, brother. I really do. Thank you. God bless you. You guys never have to super chat to ask me anything. Where can I get the list of the rules of acquisition? I don't know. They used to be like that used to be on Usenet, because that, like, the Ferengi, I guess, showed up in Star Trek in the 80s, 90s. I don't know. It was kind of a meme back then. But sitting in that orbital band and not getting destroyed by the gravitic pull of well, you're just a YouTuber now, and you're just going to kind of slam into the larger body, and you're never going to have that freedom of being out there and being a gamer guy. All you can do is stay here and YouTube. I never want that. Like, I never want to look up and be so disconnected from the reality of this, that I'm like, when was the last time I gamed? I think that's one of the reasons why I game on stream. The biggest reason is I want people to learn how to play first edition. But the other reason is I still want to have a night when I play. I mean, honestly, if somebody in my Monday night group stepped up and was just like, Bill, I'm going to run it from now on, I'd be like, hallelujah, praise Jesus, and pass the ammunition. And as weird as this is going to sound, as absolutely bonkers as this is going to sound, back in the summer of 24, was it? Or was it the summer of 23? I'll have to go back and look, because something very sad happened that summer that I don't like to think about a lot. But when Mrs. the Dungeon Delver had to have surgery, and there were like 6 weeks that she was recovering, during that 6 weeks, one of my Monday night group stepped up and ran AD&D, and he ran us through Keep on the Borderlands. And he had never DM'd before any RPG, much less first edition AD&D, but he had played with us at that point for about 4 years, 5 years. And he did such an amazing job. He did such an amazing job. You're welcome, Advanced Fantasy. I'm about to turn into. I'm about to wrap up. Because it's almost tomorrow. But that was glorious. I loved that. And I do go to cons, okay? But I don't wear gaming like tomorrow. If somebody said, hey, Bill, you know, you could be a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel just by live stream about live stream about collecting lids baseball caps, live stream about bass boats, live stream about be one of those live streamers who doesn't talk, but you just go out and do build a survival cabin in the woods, but there's actually a team of people building it and you're just filming yourself working with a saw like you're actually millions of subscribers. Oh, you can still play and love D&D. It's just this is your YouTube approach now. I would say no. I know there's other stuff I could keep doing D&D streaming, except I could go the Bob the World Builder route or the Professor DM route and talk about fucking 5th edition. Literally, not leave my hobby, not change anything except ditch classic D&D. Oh, I'd keep these as props, but I'd talk about the best ranger builds for D&D 2024. Wizards of the Coast just released this booster for tiefling rogue warlocks. We call them roguelocks. A new Tasha's downloadable supplement just dropped. I would turn off all my gear and hawk it up at Pawn America before I would do that. No. I have to strike that balance between doing the material that I love and getting a crap ton of subs. For me, a crap ton of subs for me. And I mean, right now I'm just a skosh under 9560 or 9570 rather. And that's awesome. And that's you guys. And I lost sight of that. And I let it just beat me down. And all of this, guys, is to say that if you're going to do this, first of all, there is infinite room to do this kind of thing that I do. I have no special talents. I have no secret to what I do. What I do, I think I do well. But if you are going to do this, just be aware of that balance between doing what you love for tabletop and doing YouTube. Don't let this subsume your hobby. I did. And I fell in a pit trap, okay? I thought the dungeon quarter had a pile of gold just right around the corner, and I just had to keep walking and not pay attention to anything. I know how to navigate a little bit better. And I care about you guys too much to not warn you about this kind of thing. So with that said, guys, take care of yourselves. I do love you all. I mean it. I'm going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be playing some Blade Runner. We're going to make up new characters. We're starting a new story arc in Blade Runner, set in the 2049 setting instead of the 2019 setting. I want to say some big thanks here. I forget to do this sometimes. Thanks for becoming a member again, Wave. Ultra TTRPGer has been a member for 2 months. Thank you. Looking for Guac. I'm looking forward to you being at Guac, Great Underground Online Gaming Convention, April 9th through 12th. Don't miss it. Death Angel Shadow has been a member for 31 months. It's almost 3 years of membership. Thank you for being such a big member, you big member. He's been a big throbbing member, 31 long. That's how long his member is. Gonzalo for the super. Thank you. Rob for the super. Thank you. Death Angel Shadow for the super. Thank you. Thank you all so very, very much. So I appreciate it, everyone. I will be talking to you all tomorrow night while we play. And until then, be careful and on your way out. You know what? All the owl bear wants is a high five. Just give him a little dap. He's not going to tear your arm off, I promise. He and I both. Hey, Roger Hurst, thank you for becoming a member. On your way out, I appreciate that. Just give him a little dap. You know what? He and I have both had some Zen moments, and he's not gonna beat you. He's not gonna crush you. Just take care of yourselves, guys. Love you all. Good night.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.